This is your host, Pete Moore, and I am pleased and humbled to announce the launch of my one and only book, Time to Win Again. 52 takeaways from playing and watching team sports to ensure your business success. Those of you who know me personally, and anyone who listens to Halo Talks for any length of time, know that I am an avid sports fan and a big believer in the value of team sports. What I've seen over the past 25 years helping businesses grow, raising capital, being an entrepreneur myself, and coaching and mentoring executives in the sector, it's the lessons learned on the field perfectly apply to business. Entrepreneurs, executives, managers, you name it. Every company that's a strong company has got a good team. It's a quick read. There's awesome illustrations in there from our good friend Mark at Cruelty Free Cartoons. If you go to integritysq.com, enter your email address, and we will send you information on the book and the Entrepreneur's Survival Kit as well. Be great. Take names. Go Halo. This is Pete Moore on Halo Talks NYC. I have the pleasure of having the energy, the excitement, the effort. Calvin and Bryan coming in from Step Brothers. Excited to hear how they're doing. We got them both coming out of COVID. Strongest recovery of all time. Welcome to the show.
What's going on, Pete? Thanks for having us.
Excellent, excellent. So Calvin, why don't you start off, give us a little bit of the background here on how you guys are related, how you guys grew up, and why you're still working together.
Oh, shoot. All right. Well, same mom, different dad. No, I'm joking. People ask me all the time. Just the other day, we hopped on the ferry together after we got done teaching a class. And obviously, Step Brothers is the name, whatever. And then we're getting ready to hop on the ferry, and he looks at it. He's like, "Are you guys brothers?" And we just kind of looked at each other like, this thing is meant to be, man. You know what I mean? But no, Bryan and I go way back. So we're both from upstate New York. We worked together in the same gym. Back in 2014, we had a mutual friend who recruited us both. Bryan had already been there, and I just came back from living in New York City my first time, and we just hit it off. Same personalities, both Geminis. People realized that we had the same sense of humor, and from there, it really just it started to grow. A lot of the females in the gym noticed that Bryan and I had a rather unique set of glutes, so we said, "Fuck it," and we measured them one day. And on top of everything else that we have in common, come to find out, we both had 44-inch glutes. I mean, talk about that as far as the fitness industry is concerned.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if they track that on Ancestry.com or not, but that's a little bit weird, dude. It's not like what's your wingspan, you know?
To have a partnership,
what's your glute span?
I don't know what is.
you and Dave, you guys never measured your glutes before?
No. I mean, we will today. I mean, I gotta go to the Home Depot and see if I can get one of those big ones that they use for like a football field or something.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's a game changer. It's a game changer.
Sounds like it. I like to have other people around when I do it, though. You know.
Right. Well, if you need Bryan and I to be there to show you guys how it works, I mean, we're more than happy to lend a hand.
I'd rather do a podcast first, see how this goes, and then we'll take the glute hangout next. You know.
Well, in 27 minutes, we'll see what this is all about, and if we pass the test, then we'll be over in about 45. Exactly. How about that?
Warning to all: this podcast may end at any time.
Abruptly,
without warning.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, maybe take the glute thing out of it and I'll keep it in. But
yeah, we're keeping it in. We're going straight. No matter what happens, there's no edits to this. I'm guaranteed. So Bryan, what were you doing at the time? How'd you get to the city? And, give us a little bit of the chronology here.
Yes. I mean, it was 2013 when me and Cal first came together, and we trained through that next year, 2014. And then I made the decision to come down to New York City, January 2015, trained at Equinox right on Park Ave for three and a half years, actually almost 4 years. So that's where I really got my start and started meeting people and, making a name for myself. And, by that time, I was ready to go privately, did the private business, which I'm currently in right now. And then by that time, Cal was back in the city for at least, 3 or 4 years. And that's really what we were ready to set out to do. Eventually, it was like bound to happen where we wanted to come together and do this thing together. So
before we move on, I'm an avid soccer goalie, now retired. So you have on your LinkedIn, which is awesome, that you're a summer camp soccer counselor. I got to bring that up. Let's talk about soccer for at least 60 to 90 seconds.
Yeah, at least. Yeah, so that's the thing. A lot of people don't think at all that I'm a soccer player, but that was my sport growing up. A lot of people think I was a wrestler or a football player just because I got, 18-inch biceps, not going to brag or anything. But soccer was really what made me an athlete. And I did well. I was a mid-back. I loved to play defense. And
Sweeper or stopper?
Stopper.
Dude, I was the goalie, man. So you were like my best friend.
Yeah, I need it.
Exactly. But when I yell keeper, bro, I got it. I don't care how big your biceps are. I can use my hands.
Exactly. You can use your actual hands.
Yeah. But, that's why I started playing goalie, because I'm like, hold on, no one else use my hands. It seems like a pretty big benefit. And I don't have to run. And I was eating a lot of sugar at the time.
Yeah. You're the only one.
So thanks to guys like you.
Yeah, man. I was always the goalie's best friend. Yeah, always the goalie's best friend.
So how did that, getting in and, we wrote this book, Dave and I, and this, my caricatures, Time to Win Again. We talk about team sports and taking all of the traits of running a winning team and infusing that into a business. Now you're doing it with your stepbrother. What do you think some of the key takeaways from being the stopper and, the last line of defense, except for me, and making sure the team doesn't lose and then let other people win? How do you kind of think through that as an analogy?
I mean, honestly, my position as a stopper on the soccer field is probably the most firm analogy for how I am in a business world, because it is more predominantly a defensive position, but when given the opportunity, you take the offense. So for me, I'm always very good and was on the field very good at being able to hesitate other people's movements, and I could get the ball from anybody. So it's almost one of those things where, I can see the field and I can understand the movements and hesitate. And when it's time for me to take that next step over the line and go to the goal, that's what I do best. So I think really that is, funny enough, probably the best analogy for how I operate as a business person and in general.
Yeah. And Calvin, when you were going through high school, what were your, I've seen some of your Instagram, so I'm not going to, comment on some of your posts, but, and there's a little kid carrying a kettlebell. It looked like he's on some train tracks, a little bit weird, but, give us your kind of, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a weird photo with a weird angle. It looks like wooden train tracks. We're going to post that in the show notes. Calvin, give us your background on sports and fitness.
Shoot. Yeah, I was a two-way athlete all throughout, since being a kid, all throughout high school. I played basketball. I played AAU basketball, and I also played football. When I was a junior, my team, we won a state championship. We were one of the best teams in New York State at the time. And essentially, I converted over into the fitness industry because I had a pretty extensive career within fitness modeling, and I was going pretty hard at it for about a year and a half, 2 years. And then it was time to opt out of the modeling industry. Just wasn't for me. A lot of nonsense going on, but I still love fitness. I just always had that passion, that drive for sports. And I knew that I was no longer going to be competing at that level. So I was like, damn, how can I still give that intensity? How can I still be on that scene? And my first way of doing so was when I got into training, when I got into coaching, and I got to really be hands-on and essentially be like the strength and conditioning coach for my local high school. So I dealt with all the student athletes. I prepped them all to get ready for whatever their respective sports were and colleges that they were going to. So I kind of just took that passion from basketball and football all throughout childhood and just converted it into being able to coach and just give it back to the youth. So
that's amazing. We just as an aside, it's something you guys should know about. We invested in a company called the athletebook.com, which is basically like an Indeed.com for D1, D2, D3 athletes to get into the Halo sector, health and fitness, because there's no reason why a guy who's playing Division I football right now should go and take, a corporate job at an accounting firm or, enterprise rental car, when they could go and strap on an Orange Theory shirt and basically just continue their team, workouts and help other people and infuse that same intensity into the general public. It should be almost like a priority
Yeah.
Sick. Give me the best, like 10,000 NCAA athletes that are graduating, and let's get them into the fitness industry. And if they don't get in for whatever reason, then go get a corporate job and, wear a suit. But like, I'm sure it's one of the benefits. I mean, Bryan, what do you give us your point of view on?
Well, that's like the con body model, but for people that haven't, committed aggravated assault. But, it's a smart thing. It's a really good thing for people to do if that's already their skill set. It's already their skill set. Yeah. So, it's why send somebody right into a corporate job because then you see with a lot of these type of people that go from being like this, high level athlete to go straight to corporate job. You also see these big dips in motivation, and then you see the dips in habits. And these people, they don't know how to assimilate without that, constant, whether it be like this constant, progress towards fitness or athletics. Then they have this 180 and they don't know how to assimilate. And then they go through this period of time where they're either gaining weight, depressed, or just don't have that same vigor. So that's why it can be so beneficial to, put them right into these programs.
Yeah. So now you guys you're running live fitness classes. You kind of spun out and this is your full-time thing. You're not, training at any other clubs anymore. And you're doing a lot of online, I saw the announcement on OBE. So give us a little commentary on what is the business right now? And, what are the top two things people should be thinking about when they think about the business?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the partnership with OBE, which, we've been, again, steadily working towards that type of opportunity, but not necessarily always thought of that as something that we would hit. But, from the beginning, when we first had our initial product was the extended family program over COVID, the quarantine, we ended up making a service for people, just where we could meet with them once a week on Zoom and gave them a program to work out to, kept in touch with them, gave them goals or helped them understand how to set goals. And that was what we first did after we were making content just together upstate. We're okay, let's get an idea for how we can really serve the people. So then this is our service. And we kept it over time until we were ready to get back in person and train. And then we also developed the Train SB app, which was more of again, that was just streamlining the process. And we held all the videos that we had in the programs in a playbook style format where you could just sign into your, right into your portal and everything would be customized for you. So it was less back end work for us. And then now that we have this next phase of in person where we got classes running again, we ended up linking up with OBE, which is a perfect opportunity to just get back onto people's screens with less work on our end to be able to get ourselves out there, get exposure, because over time, it's from the beginning, we were doing the most back end work and just creating it all ourselves. And then we got some help and we just started streamlining it. And now we're fully streamlined into this full production studio where we just go in and do our thing and we can get exposure for what we're doing on the ground. So that's been nice.
Yeah. Calvin, when you were working on this part of the business, and I want to get deep into your guys' psychology, because I think fitness companies need to understand your psychology, that you don't want to care. I don't want to hear about what the latest Apple update is and how I got to modify the code or what I have to do on the technology side. I'm a content creator and that is my lane, and I got a lot of lane, and what's underneath the workings of that, somebody else has got to do it, and I'll pay for it, but I'm not getting into the weeds on that. So Calvin, how did you think about hey, I'm not going to become a technology company, or we got two people here, which one of us is going to figure this out? And maybe it's either of us.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's definitely a conversation that we had during COVID, that we had when we came back, and that we still have to this day, just because it becomes exhausting. And our biggest thing is in the beginning, and Bryan can attest to this, everyone's in front of their computers and in front of their phones during quarantine. That's all we had. So at the time for him and I to match that with work and just promoting and being on there and emailing and doing all that stuff, it was fine because none of us had a choice. None of us could step outside, and that's what everyone was doing. And that was the way that we were to recruit the members that we had at the time. But who we are as people and as coaches, the way that we connect and really build our brand is when we get in front of people.
Sure.
The moment that we got back to New York and the moment that we were able to be face-to-face with people and shit was safe, that's when we saw us really start to go up another level. And we go back and forth with responsibilities, and that's the best thing about a partnership. And him and I are still learning as we go, but we've always known that like one another is going to be accountable. And I think that's the best shit about what we have going on. So just like, even now, like him and I will go back and forth as far as social media is concerned. And like, we've already began to kind of like have people help us out with certain things. Cause now we just don't need to do that part of the business. Like you said, like our strengths are being in front of people and coaching and making sure that we're getting the best out of our members. And as far as like the other aspect is concerned, like there's people that do that. So it's just, we switched it up, and now it's definitely grown.
I want to take a minute and tell our audience about two awesome workout recovery products I've been using for the last 18 months from Higherdosecom, leader in infrared technology for athletes like all of us are. We're an investor in the company. That's not why I'm telling you this. I'm telling you this because it works. You got an infrared sauna blanket. I hop in there. I'll listen to some podcasts, burn 800 calories, get a mad detox. And a PEMF, which is a pulsed electromagnetic field crystal mat that I lay on, and I recalibrate my cells to the normalized level of the earth. If you got somebody you like and you're looking for a pretty awesome gift, they will love it. You could use this code HALO75, get $75 off, and you will not be disappointed. Higherdose.com, promo code HALO75. And now let's get back to our regularly scheduled program.
Somebody said to me the other day, I don't remember who it was, we'll give him street cred, anonymous. Somebody said to me, I don't work in my business right now. I work on my business. And they're like, I got people that are running it and I'm driving it. And if I could drive it, then they could go faster. You know what I mean? So when you think about some of these health club operators that are trying to retain, let's just make this on your view of like your psychology as a, celebrity trainers and coaches, how do bricks and mortar companies, like whether it's a Crunch or an Equinox or New York Sports Clubs or LA Fitness, let me name enough of them not to be specific. How do they get guys that are up and comers to say, look, I want to work in this business with you. I'm not going to go and run off and do my own thing. I'm not ready to do that. But there's certain things I need. I need you to promote me. I need you to, it's got to be my Instagram. It can't be your Instagram. How would you advise if you said, I got a consulting business now, managing talent like you are? How would you talk to those people and say, this is how you got to treat your trainers if you want to keep them?
That's always that's the golden question. And of course, it always depends on a well-derived incentive structure. But like, especially now, because of the ability to get yourself out there and have people like you for whatever it may be, your look, your personality, just because of Instagram and maybe buy your service. It's really important for like gym owners or whoever to like really just allow the coach to like be their own, person and have their own thing, and just kind of give them the resources and give them also, have them understand their responsibilities that they have in terms of, dealing with clientele and just making the client happy and having a system in place to where you have a new coach come in, whether it's okay in a traditional sense where someone comes in and they're training under you, you probably have the network to get this person the client. You own the gym. Okay. So obviously You're going to take a percentage of that client that you just gave this person. And that's, usually how it'll happen. But again, it's in fitness, your personality is the main digit. It's what separates you from anyone else, because anyone can give you a workout program, but there's something that, no one can ever take away from either Calvin or I, and that's our personalities. And that's the thing that's replaceable. So like, it's important to be that motivator and to be, the most that you can be for these clients, and to have, managers or gym owners, instill that into their coaches.
Gotcha. So Calvin, back to you for a second. An adjacent question. If I'm in the studio, I can't get my instructors back. They've already left. They got their, booming Instagram or, maybe some fee services set up. One of the ideas, would it be to like have somebody change their mentality and say, you know what? I'm like a little mini Madison Square Garden, and I got 4,000 square feet, and I'm going to go to guys like you and say, hey, do you want to take over my studio? And I'll have like a rotating banner, and I'll be like Madison Square Garden. You guys show up here like 3 days a week. We'll get somebody else show up here 3 days a week, like the Knicks and the Rangers. Should I be think of myself as like, maybe I'm a live event space? Like how would you react to that?
I mean, yeah, 100%, right? Because MSG is known as the Mecca for multiple reasons, from everything from sports to concerts to everything. It's not just one lane. So like, if you're someone who has the space and the space is fantastic, but the only thing that you lack is the ability to bring people in, then yeah, like go find the talent that need a home, especially in a time like now where independent trainers and people who are really thriving on their own, like there's really no one spot for people to kind of like consider it their home and to bring their communities to. So I feel like that makes the most sense. And then now you're just known for being open and allowing all these different talents to come in, and you don't have a particular bias as to who goes through your door. You're looking at it, you know what I mean? And now you're accessible to all. I mean, at the end of the day, right? That's all you're worried about. You're worried about numbers, and you want to establish a community. So if you have the space, then allow those people to come through and provide that service.
So, if you think about bars and you think about, all like, when I was living in New York City, I was going out, just pause there for a second as if I stopped going out. Right. So when I used to go out like 3 weeks ago, when I stopped. No. So, you think about like every artist, like, or a comedian, right? A comedian goes to like 5 different comedy clubs a night in New York City. Right. And a band will come in and they'll go to Irving Place, they'll go to Webster Hall. This might be all like circa 1996, by the way. Half of these places might be closed right now. Right.
No, we've been to Webster Hall.
Yeah. But is that place still open, or is it now like a high-rise condo?
It reopened.
We shut it down. Ryan and I shut it down.
I'll meet you there on Friday. I'm just kidding. Bryan, back to you. Like, is there like going to be like this cosmic change of, and do you think of yourself as kind of like, hey, I'm an artist, I'm a rock star, and I'm going to play, or I'm going to go do a fitness class wherever I want, whenever I want, whether it's public or private, like just give me 3,000 square feet. Bring it.
Yeah. If you have a brick and mortar, and if you don't clearly and strongly establish, what your brand is or what you provide, then it's going to be really hard to make money or be strong. Like, because the talent is everything now. You better have a clean place, create a great environment, and let people know what your place is or what the brand is. Because if you don't get that down, then you're going to be in turmoil because like, again, it's like the whole thing with gatekeepers. Like, people don't need gatekeepers as much. Like, if you own a space in the city, and if you're not like have a system where you're in full control of like who's coming in and who your trainers are and the other streams of revenue that the brand generates, and you're just like expecting people to come in and like, all right, if people come in, cool. Like, it's going to be a hard time to be successful in my mind.
I mean, I think the reason why these conversations are necessary is because there's going to be people listening, and they're going to forward it to somebody, basically telling people what to do right now. This is my call to action. If you know someone that owns a bar or a restaurant, has 3,000 square feet, or has a fitness studio that's failing, tell them to go on Instagram, find somebody within a 5 or 10 mile radius who's doing virtual workouts, and bring them into your club as a celebrity artist, just like you would do in like South Jersey. Get somebody to play a guitar so you can sell beer, right? Like, just change this around and say, I don't need to go employ the talent. I need to go and host the talent.
Exactly. You need to be a host. There's this kid, Steve Will Do It. This kid is like 23 years old. I watch their shit all the time. There's this kid, his name is Steve Will Do It. on YouTube.
But was Will, is that his last name or Steve, his first name, Will?
That's just what he calls himself. Because he became popular by chugging like 24 Coronas in under a minute. So let's just say, talking about a bar.
Has he got a catheter?
This kid, yes. But this kid is like now known for being this party animal. So, hey, contact this dude to come to your bar. And then once people know that he's there, he's a pro drinker. I want to drink where the pro drinker is.
It's almost like
crazy.
People don't want to give a little bit to grow anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's always like, now everything needs to be like, I have this establishment. It's, it's sexy. It's this, it's that. $300. Like, no, like
people are more important.
The art of like still like giving away free sessions. I mean, Bryan and I'm 32 years old. I still make sure that I give a free personal training session to a client for the first time. Why not? It's an hour of my time, but I know it'll take me a further way, right? Like, people don't do that shit anymore, Yeah,
I hear you. So what are some of the things? So we got the OBE online, that you guys are, taking this to another level. After we get that kid with the kettlebell off the train tracks, that will be all safe, no PC issues.
I gotta find.
I think he's talking about the kid on the pier. It looks like
the kid on the pier with the kettlebell, man. I started looking at that. It looks like it's on a wood train track.
Oh, that's your boy. Bryan took that picture.
Come on, buddy. 2 more sets. Just 2 more.
2 more sets, little guy. We'll get you off the tracks. Train's not that close. Not that close. You didn't hear a horn yet.
It's 100 feet away.
The bridge is not shaking, boy. Finish up your workout. That would be an interesting way to get people to do maybe a boot camp on a bridge over troubled waters.
Yes.
With an oncoming train. Finish this workout.
This is a new fear factor.
This is like the Step Brothers Squid sequel.
That's right. Exactly. Make it entertaining.
Bro, I totally lost my train of thought. What was I even talking about? Oh yeah, okay. So my point was, So the point was, we got things going on online. What's going on the bricks and mortar side, or what do you want to be doing on a daily basis? Because as Calvin mentioned, I got to get in front of somebody in person, and that's my thing, our thing.
I mean, it's right now. It's the class. I mean, our classes, we're doing now 3 a week. We both have our single class during the week, and then we do Step Brothers Saturdays, which is where we get all of us together and we do a bigger class. But that's the thing we've been lucky to be able to do. Very fortunate that we have these locations that we can go and bring all of these people to. Usually that's the personal training side where you can bring one person to this spot that you can train at. But we've kind of been able to get in this position where we're able to bring big classes with our brands like into these gyms that we collaborate with, whether it brings more exposure to the gym because we have so many people coming through. Like our Step Brothers name has just been able to attract people to these places. So like that's very valuable.
That's awesome. So guys, in closing here, we always like to collect as many quotes as we can from guys like yourselves to keep things going and have other people motivated. So Calvin, what's one of the quotes you go to?
I'm going to have to go to the GOAT, my favorite, Denzel Washington. And my mother put me onto this. She used to tell me this one. And he said, do what you have to do so you can do what you want to do. So those early mornings at 4:30 a.m., when Bryan texts me, says we have X, Y, and Z to complete today, and I really want to tell him to go fuck off. I'm like, you know what?
I hear you, man.
You know what? It's okay because we're doing exactly what we have to do. We're putting in the hours. We're not making excuses. We're doing exactly what's necessary now. But I'm telling you, in 5-10 years, we're going to be doing what we want to do. And we're going to have all the time to our hands. And that's what's most important is make sure that we have time and we dictate our time. So shout out to Denzel. It's got a lot of great fucking
shout out to Denzel. And I think what he also means is like, this is what I got to do. And I'm going to do it as if I want to do it. And I'm like, this role I'm playing, I'm in it like 100%.
100%. Yeah. Got to give it 100%.
Yeah. Bryan, you got one to add on to that?
Yeah. So my go-to, my motto is always mise en place. And that is, it's really just a saying in culinary terms, it's a French culinary term. And I first heard it when I used to just be like a line cook working a shitty job when I was like 18, but it just means everything in place. And in a culinary sense, it's about always getting everything in place and all your ingredients and all your tools so you can have, a successful preparation and production. So for me, it's just, when things are, feeling hectic or you feel worried in a sense or whatever it may be. And it also, goes in hand with what Cuddy has to say about just, doing things to have that long-term effect. It's everything in place and then everything will be fine because we'll always be putting in that work. So as long as everything is in place, we're fine.
That's awesome. Well, to my new most favorite stepbrothers, welcome officially to the Halo sector. I look forward to seeing you in person.
Ooh.
I love what you guys are doing. Keep moving the needle. It's changing people's lives. And collectively, we are going to solve loneliness, obesity, and diabetes. And we'll bring Denzel to your successful closing of a 10,000 person event that we do at MSG.
Let's
Look
go.
forward to seeing you, man. Awesome. Go Step Brothers and stay off the tracks.
Thank you, fellas. You guys rock, man.